you've had time to reflect now, a couple of weeks. How have you looked back on what happened at the end of last season and the season as a whole? Yeah,
obviously we've had time to reflect, and I've certainly done reflection on the season and obviously the playoff games. And over the course of the season, we've always been a team that's gradually been getting better and better and better. And the performances, the consistency, the results, certainly the second half of the season have been what we've wanted really in terms of winning games. The blend, the cohesion, the attacking football that we've played, the many different goal scorers that we've had over the course of the season has been tremendous really. So when I look back at the season, I've seen a team that was upward and mobile, going towards the right direction. When I look back on the course of the playoffs, obviously it came into the playoffs, and fantastic for us to get into the playoffs and achieve that. Obviously the aim was obviously to go and win the playoffs. And when I look back at the two playoff games, both games were frantic. I thought going up there, it was backs against the wall for us, but we dug in and stuck at the task, and they came back, brought them back here with a slender 1-goal lead. And the onus was always on us we had to go and win the game, so we knew we had to go and win the game. So we knew from our perspective we couldn't sit back. And I thought a group of players trying to do that, and you got to remember the emotion. I thought Hillsborough was electric. I thought the atmosphere was absolutely electric, and one that lives long in memory really in terms of the atmosphere. And we got back in the game, and when you get back in the game in the 70th minute, the roof come off and the momentum was with us, and the boys were finding extra gear and putting Sunderland on the back foot. Credit to Sunderland that they stood firm. And of course, when an incident like that happens in the 93rd minute, it's a real bitter pill to swallow. And certainly for me, when the game finished, I had to sort of go inside and sort of have 20-25 minutes to myself, because obviously as a manager you've got to then come back out and address everybody and try and summarise the season and these two playoff games. So of course he was hurt as a manager, but you have to reflect over the season, and though it was disappointing to go out that manner, when I reflect back on the season, there's a lot of positives to take from the season, and there's too many positives for it all to fall down on that one incident in terms of the team, the stats and figures that we've produced over the season. And when I say that we have, I mean everybody, because even from the supporters angle, to see Hillsborough full for the Portsmouth game this season, and certainly for the Sunderland game, is something as a manager what I've wanted to do, is in terms of coming here and giving the fans a team that they see true value in and can support. And we've had that season. So my message is always clear to everybody, coming back in here, connecting the team and the fans and the club back together is what I've wanted to do. And I've certainly felt that over the course of the season. And that's been achieved because the hard work that everybody's put in to get this club back to where we wanted to get it back to.
You mentioned how many positives there were so many last season. What are the ones that particularly meant a lot to you?
Yeah, for me, for the positives over the course of the season was the different goal scorers. I think we had 20 plus different goal scorers, which meant we're a team that we attack from all angles, and we have different scorers from the left through the centre of the pitch and right, and set play. So we scored all types of goals last season, which is something that was really important to me. Another positive was our fullback scoring, which is a personal triumph for myself, because that's what we wanted to do, and it shows that we're a team on the front foot. The stats and figures that went through the roof in terms of second half, the win rates. Another stat was towards the end of the season was, I think in the last 13 games, we were starting to get the balance of the set plays right. I think we conceded 4 in the last 13. If you take that over the course of the season, then that would be a massive, significant difference. So even though that we spoke about conceding a lot of goals earlier on in the season from set plays, if you look at us from when we got to game 12 or 13 from the end of the season. I think we only conceded 4, which again was showing that we're going in the right direction. So as we was finishing the season, we was heading in the right direction. We certainly feel that had the season have gone on another 4, 5, 6 games, I'm almost sure the momentum that we had then, we was really, really up and mobile in terms of getting results and getting that consistency and getting that understanding with us. So, and of course the full houses, you know, to see that the supporters come back and support the team was excellent. The away travel was a record in the EFL. When you look at championship clubs, League 1 and League 2, and for us to be the highest attendance again shows a wonderful togetherness by everybody, and so appreciative of that really. So when I look at a lot of the positives in there, you know, we feel, you know, Lee Gregory had 17 goals and he still missed 2 months of the season. You know, we had Barry scoring his goals and assists from midfield. So we look at things like that we feel that individually and collectively as a group, there's a lot of positives to take from the season, and it's something that we got to look at it and make sure that we're building on top of that for the new campaign.
Mm-hmm. In the 2 weeks past, how does it work for you? Do you sort of give yourself much downtime? Is it straight into looking for next season?
For me, Joe, I'm not stopped really since, I think from the playoffs. I think I've had a couple of days just to give myself some reflection time. But for me, I've just continued working, and I found it quite therapeutic really in terms of getting the cogs back going again and preparing again. And the playoffs for me now has been forgotten about, because for me, I'm past that now, and it's just about building for next season. So therefore for me, it's a real crucial time, because now it's getting in amongst everybody else and trying to make sure that we get the recruitment right, and trying to get the team in a position where we feel we need to be better, we need to prepare better, we need to recruit in better, to give ourselves a chance to be in amongst it again for the up and coming campaign.
As you say, work's already begun for next season, and that started with the retain list, which was announced last week. What can you tell us about that process? Yeah,
so we thought we'd looking at the retain list and that we've put out there, and you know, it's just time to keep this club moving forward. You know, I thank all of the players for their efforts and contribution for the last campaign. And they go with our absolute best wishes in terms of going forward. They know that. I've spoken to them all individually, and they know that in terms of that. But in terms of for us here at Wednesday, we just got to keep moving forward, and that's always been my mentality here, is to keep moving forward, and that's our desire, is to keep moving forward, and let's not look back, but we continue to look forward. And I think that's the clear message that we feel here, and that's how we got to drive it. So the new campaign's on the horizon. There's a lot of work that's going on here now that we're consistently doing now, and getting some good work in, and obviously this is the bit where people don't see, but these are the most important times really in terms of the preparation for the up and coming campaign, and that's why it's important that I felt that we continue to work in terms of keeping the right blend, getting the right focus, and keeping the momentum.
Fair to say those talks, bringing players in, that's all underway, and that's all happening in the background?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, and it has to happen in the background. Obviously, probably some of the small frustrations is 1 or 2 away on holiday, which you can understand. But some of the talks have been positive, and as I said, the competition's fierce out there. It really is. The competition's fierce because, you know, the type and level of players that we're competing to try and get as well. You know, they're not short of offers from 1 or 2 others as well, really. So we have to consistently try our very best, like we'll continue to do. And hopefully we can get the right players and get the right blend really into the club this season to what's hopefully going to push us on again.
How do you find these early stages of a transfer window as a manager? What's it like? Is it something you look forward to? You get excited, that squad building?
Yeah, and I call it all part of the process. Really, you can't. The talks have to go on, and sometimes you're doing the talks, and sometimes you feel you're going nowhere with it, Joe. But I call it all part of the process, because you have to have them conversations. You got to have those talks. You got to have the talks with the clubs. You got to have a talk with the players. You got to have a talk with the representatives. So there's so many talks that you have to have, and even meet individuals if they are out of contract. You can meet individuals to discuss where they're at and the opportunity, and it's a two-way thing for me. It's meeting the player, and I think there's no better way of meeting the player when you look into their eyes. You see that desire and passion, because that's what we want here at Wednesday's players that are real passionate to play for the club and drive it forward. And it's something that we've brought back this season in terms of that drive and commitment with the players. That every time you pull a shirt on for Wednesday, it really means something, and that won't depart from the squad, certainly for the up and coming campaign.
In terms of plans for pre-season, how far away are we from announcing those kind of plans, and when can we expect the players to report back?
Yeah, no, the plans will get announced real shortly. Everything's in place. The players will report back here by June the 20th. Which will give us a good 6 weeks to train. By the time we reckon they've had off, it would have been 6 weeks they would have had off. So when they come back into pre-season, they'll have a good 6 weeks to get their bodies into the condition where we need them to get being ready for the start of the new campaign.
Looking around the training ground as well, you can see that work's going on the pitches, and no doubt at Hillsborough as well. How much are you looking forward to getting them back and getting them back on the grass?
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, and the pitches here at the training ground are well underway, and obviously we've had it done at Hillsborough as well. So work's gone underway to get ready, because obviously we know with the season starting early, everything's had a knock-on effect, and we just got to be ready for it for when we come back in, and that's what we've got really. So by the time we get back in, the boys report here, the surfaces should be ready, and we're good to go. Hopefully we can hold a game at the stadium as well in pre-season, and hopefully the fans will be able to come in and see the team, and hopefully see one or two new signings. So all those are in place really in terms of what we want to do this pre-season. But the main thing for pre-season is players return back, players have a good 6 weeks pre-season, they come through unscathed, they get fit physically, mentally into it, and we get ready for the new campaign, and that's what pre-season's about.
The team obviously set a high standard last season. How do you want them to approach this new campaign? Carry
on from where they left off, and that's how we've got to look at it. As I said, when you look at some of the stats and figures, it is warming, Joe, towards it, even though it was a bitter pill for us all to swallow at this stage. But we've got to look at look in between the fabrics and look at what we achieved this season. 85 points. I mean, you guys told me that in the history of Wednesday, it's been the third highest total ever in any season. Had Wednesday have got that in any other season, it's probably a promotion. But such has been the unique of this campaign. You're talking two teams that went up had 90 points, 90 or plus points. 6 teams had over 80 points. And that's some achievement at League One. And hopefully it suggests to everybody the state that League One is in. It's got a respect for nobody. It's a demanding league. It's a challenging league. There's lots of variations in terms of how teams set up and how teams play, but there's no right or wrong way in terms of how you would deem what success looks like. Because when you look at those top 6, 7, 8 teams that got up there, all of us have a different style of play and a different approach to the game. Some have got promotion by playing a certain way. Some have got promotion by playing a different certain way. Some have got into the playoffs again by utilising both those types of tactics that you've seen. So it's each of their own, really, that find their own blend and are consistent with it over the season. What I just want us to do is carry on from where we left off in terms of the end of the campaign, and the boys coming back and hitting the ground running really, and that's what whets my appetite in terms of looking forward to the new campaign, and obviously getting and seeing everybody again and getting back down at Hillsborough and getting back into it. There's nothing more exciting than a new footballing season that's on the horizon.
And just a message for the fans, obviously you mentioned the high attendances from last season. You must be looking forward to seeing them again next year.
Yes, special recognition to the fans. I want to say on behalf of myself, the staff, the players, all us here at Sheffield Wednesday, thank you all so much for your tremendous support, home and away, absolutely superb. And this message is for you as an individual, to say thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you for the new campaign. We look forward to seeing you for another season. Please come back again in your thousands that you've done home and away. It's greatly appreciated by myself and the boys. And as I said to you, I'm really looking forward to the new campaign. And it's a special message of thanks from me to all the Wednesday fans. And I look forward to seeing you all soon.